Well, welcome everybody on this beautiful day, gorgeous day. Haven't these days been amazing? Really, I've been outside a lot and really enjoying it. I hope you have too. Went out to Pheasant Branch yesterday with the family, and there's a Todd. Maybe you know this. There's an eagle. There's an eagle's nest out there, a bald eagle. And we saw the male carrying a snake to the nest. It was very mythic. So that was very cool. Today we're going to continue our progressive practice that moves us by stages into a sense of stillness and a sense of boundlessness, and then a return into present moment awareness. I'd like to mention one thing before we begin, and let me adjust this a little bit. Sorry. Okay, that's better. And I've talked a lot or mentioned many times about the eyes, and so if we're moving hands, we say that the eyes follow the hand. So in this case, following the upper hand. In this case, just neutral forward. But there's a basic neuroscience. There's basic neuroscience research around looking up and looking down, and it just affirms what we sort of intuitively know. If we're looking up or out, we're getting the big picture. And so as we evolve maybe on the savannah, we want to be able to see the big picture, see what's around us so we can be safe or find food or whatever. So the looking up activates a part of the brain that takes the big picture. And then looking down would be like, maybe in ancient times, maybe you're sewing a moccasin, or you're chipping flint, or you're focusing on something where you're concentrating on one thing down. And so that activates that part of the brain that is focused on activity or form, and not the big picture, but the focus, the small picture. So this is very useful to know. So when we're doing meditation, say, maybe if our eyelids are shut, but even so, it still sends the same signal to the brain if the eyes are looking up or looking down. Whether the eyes are actually open or not doesn't matter. And so looking up, or raising the eyes, I should say, is an opening into a bigger picture, and then looking down is sort of concentrating the attention down into the body. So we'll come back to that in the meditation, but I just wanted to mention that how we're using our eyes really has a big effect on what's happening in our mind-body system. Now, the typical instruction in Zen meditation is that the eyes are focused down at a 45-degree angle. The eyelids are mostly shut, but not completely. This is optional. In Taoism, they're not telling you how to do that, but that would make sense. If your eyes are partly shut, then you're focused inward and outward. And if you're just looking kind of neutrally, you're not focusing down or up in that sort of neutral posture. And in the beginning, of course, we're going to go down. But in this first position, one option for you is to have the eyes neutral. Of course, another one is to have them down, looking down, and that pulls us down into the earth. Probably not at this stage looking up. That wouldn't be the best. And the other thing about the eyes is that if the eyelids are closed and we're moving the eyes, we're not looking out, we're looking in. So I've mentioned many times the inward view. So we're looking into the body or into the dantians or the acupuncture meridians or the microcosmic orbit. So it can be looking into the physical body, the organs, or it can be looking into the energetic, the sense of the energy flowing in the body. And use the out breath to drop down into feeling, and by feeling I mean sensing with the body. Okay, let's go into bowing to the 7 directions, starting with the north. And then turning to the east. To the south. To the west. Now the eyes will follow the hands. And if you don't mind, let's bow to the center, and bowing to bear witness to participate in the changes that are happening in our world right now. And my wish for you is that these practices will enable you, all of us, to deepen our wisdom and our compassion to better effect change within ourselves and within society. Okay, let's go into the backwash and tree and spring series, three backwashes. So this is the inward looking eye, and we're looking at the spine opening up, each segment of the spine as we go down. So the eyes are following the spine. And then with tree and spring, then the eyes are following where the fingers are pointing in the body, and then up into the universe and the whole world, and then down. So please just try this using your eyes. And then when you're ready, stretching out the neck and shoulders. Now here, the eyes are closing and opening. So when the arms are open, the eyes are open. And when we're pointing in, the eyes are closed. So this is sometimes called wake up, go to sleep. Couple more. Okay, and let's go into the weight shifting and the balance. And keep your eyes open. It helps with balance to have the eyes open. Okay, we're now going to progress from movement into stillness. So let's start with a fun movement. How about flying cranes? So start out big. Now, if you like, you can combine this with the balancing that we just did. If you feel comfortable doing that. Any variation of the crane that you'd like to do is fine. We want to fill the mind with the sense of feel, with emotion. If any thoughts appear, then increase your movement. Make it bigger or faster or somehow, but let the sensation of movement, it's the bare sensation of movement, be what's happening. And the breath, of course. And then remember the eyes. Can you sense your heartbeat? Can you sense your body getting warmer? Okay, let's reduce the movements a little. Still focusing on the sense of feel. Okay, and let's drop into embracing the tree. So standing position 2. And while you're really taken up with the feeling of this, I'm going to pose a few questions. So what is seeing without the eye? What is hearing without the ear? And what is feeling without motion? And what is thinking without the mind? So seeing without the eye would be darkness. Hearing without the ear, silence. Feeling without movement, stillness. Thinking without the mind, spaciousness. Just relax into this posture, please. In Buddhist teaching, there are 6 senses. There's the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and body. The familiar 5. The 6th sense is the mind. The mind is a sense. The brain is a sense organ, like the eye is a sense organ. So perhaps you can notice standing here the sensations of feeling. And you can also notice if thoughts arise around those feelings. So there can be a sensation of feeling, say, the bottoms of your feet, your shoulders, somewhere, hands. Just the bare sensation. And then I invite you to notice if a thought congeals around the sensation. Otherwise, you just stay with bare sensation. Feeling, in this case. If a thought appears in the space of the mind, that just notice it and then return to bare sensation. Just how this position feels right now. And see if you can catch the millisecond before the thought forms. Stay with the sensation, the body, the breath, heartbeat, whatever it is. Just rest in that. Okay, now let's go into movement. So dipping the knees. Let's do tree and spring. Watch the hands. Come around. You can use the eyes to focus or not. Just expand with the in-breath. Sink down with the out-breath. Okay, let's do one more. Okay, let's move into standing 3. Some version of this, if this is difficult for you, just do some version of it. It doesn't matter. Just the bare sensations. The body is vast. It's breathing, the heart's beating, it's radiating energy and heat. There's a huge amount going on. If your mind is busy, try reverse breathing. That is, imagine yourself emptying out with the in-breath and filling up with the out-breath. That's optional. You'll feel yourself relax when you're in just the bare sensation. You'll let go. Maybe your knees will let go, your hips will let go. Just relax into the bare sensations. Okay, now let's go into tree in autumn. Start moving, sink down. So, palms facing down. The body's moving all by itself. The body's very big. It's very diffuse. Touching the edges of it with the fingertips. Yeah, let's do this twice as fast. Okay, one more. And then up into standing 4. So this is palms up and above the crown of the head. What are the bare sensations? What do you feel? Okay, now rather than what do you feel, what is happening right now in the body? What's it doing? Is there heat? Is there tingling? Just take refuge in the bare sensations. Okay, one more breath. Dip the knees and come around into 5th position. So now I would invite you to try to include you're sensing the body, sense the mind. What is it? What's happening? Let the body get very big. The mind goes with it. Eyes can be looking up. Or they can be neutral and you can imagine that they're looking up. You can imagine they're looking in all directions at once. Let's go ahead and take a seat. And Lan Fa movement, Lan Fa mudra. And for this one, if you would please close your eyes. So we're dropping into darkness and silence. And stillness. The stillness is in the very center of all the energy, all the physical sensation. And spaciousness. That's the mind. And the spaciousness also includes the body. So with the out breath, let the body expand all directions. With each out breath, let it expand more. Okay, this vast, spacious, silent darkness. This is pure consciousness. This is the mind before a thought appears. Now, if you have a sense of a watcher, an observer of all of this, you may not, but if you do, breathe that out with the out breath. Darkness, silence, stillness, spaciousness. Okay, let's go in another door. So let's bring back bare awareness, just feeling the body sitting here, feeling the breath, and so on. So we're involved with a sense of touch. And now go deeper. What is beneath the sense of touch? What is it that's causing that sensation? And just ask the question and let it go. Okay, whatever's causing that sensation is what makes the world. You can locate it in the body through the sense of touch. You can locate it in the mind through a sense of spaciousness. But deeper than that, it has no location. And neither do we. Okay, now, if you will, let's go ahead and use the eyes and look down. Focus again on the sensations in the body. We're looking down internally. Feeling the body move with the breath. And then try slowly raising the view from the belly up maybe to the heart. A sense of expanding the body with the breath. And moving up through the brain and all the other senses, but we're going to go right by them and up. And sensing up above, feeling. You can use the eyes to look up if you want to, they're closed. So we're feeling what's above. And way, way, way up. And we're feeling that. And we're feeling what's out in all directions. Extending the sense of touch. So this goes out as far as you want to go. So this is timeless awareness. Okay. It pre-exists all form. And now let's try to harmonize the yin and yang. So with the in-breath, come right back into the body. Feel it in detail. With the out-breath, extend out in all directions. So this is the game. Boundlessness becomes form. Form becomes boundlessness. Okay, see what this feels like. Okay, so if we feel lost in the world of forms, we can touch right into boundlessness or Qi or the Tao. And it clears everything. And then we can totally re-enter the world of form and bringing with us a sense of this boundless quality. And let's take a few more breaths. Okay, and let's take this same awareness now into standing and then moving. So can you just drop into this physical sensations of standing and breathing? And at the same time, knowing that there is boundlessness just beneath this. Okay, so let's do touching heaven, touching earth. And do it slowly. So the upper hand is way, way up into, it dissolves into boundlessness. The lower hand sinks way down into form. Okay, and now bringing back. Okay, and now reverse. Okay, with the breath and the mind, extend the upward way up. And the lower one goes deeply into form. Can you feel the heat of the hand, the pulse? Okay, let's come back. Okay, and now the other part. So the mind expands the body to the fingertips all around, and the breath expands it beyond that. Okay, and then the game continues, and then it all comes in into form. And now, form and boundlessness. Form. Boundlessness. Form. Form and boundlessness. Okay, let's do one more of each direction. Okay, and drop the hand. And can you sense the solidity of the standing body, the heat, and then the expansiveness of the breath and the mind? Let's take a couple more breaths. And when you're ready, then return to standing. Okay. Okay, and let's do our closing. 1, 2, 3. Okay, any questions or comments about any of those teachings or practices, or about anything? Okay, I take that as a plus. So, Todd, I did want to ask you, were you aware that there was an eagle out there at Pheasant Branch?
I was not, but I am
Yeah,
not surprised to hear that there are eagles nesting anywhere in Wisconsin at this point.
yeah, yeah. I was really surprised. It was really cool. I can tell you where it is if you want to know. But, um, yeah. So, did you folks? I know you were all with that, but at the point where you let go of the observer, did that come as somewhat of a surprise, or was that any kind of how was that? Any
It was
comments
a
on it?
surprise.
I'm sorry?
It was a surprise. It was unexpected.
Yeah, good. Yeah. Um, you know, all the teachings of mindfulness are actually about the observer. So the observer can either observe or can form intention and direct action. And it's really good. It's wonderful because it brings us several steps back into um, into deeper awareness. But at a certain point, the observer is in the way. Um, and because it's a separation between what's being observed and the observer. And the expanded awareness is oneness. And so there is, the observer vanishes. So and that's, it's taught by the Buddha and many people, but I wondered if that maybe was news to anybody. No?
I would say it wasn't news, but I had the same reaction I always have when there's that request, or is that okay, let go of the observer, abyss, scary, uh-oh, come back, grab on.
Mm-hmm.
And that that's like every time for me if I try to let go of the observer.
Uh-huh. Yes. Yeah. And that's I understand. I know. I've been there. And it is. And that's fine. That's good because you're aware of the emptiness, and it is. I mean, it is scary. Absolutely. It's very threatening, but only to the ego. It actually is, it's actually completely harmless, but the ego is very, very afraid. And the only teaching I know about that is, yeah, that's fine. And at some point, you don't have to do anything. It's not bad. You don't have to overcome it, and none of that. At some point, it will just open up. But that means that being apprehending that is huge, you know, because most people are just like, huh? What are you talking about?
That
But
was more, this is BJ again. That was more what I had. It was unexpected and it made me start thinking again. It was like, wait, what observer? What?
uh-huh,
Hmm.
uh-huh. Yeah. So I mean, stay with mindfulness. It's absolutely wonderful. And at some point, when you least expect it, and it may have nothing to do with meditation or Qigong or anything else. It may just be seeing an eagle out in who knows what it'll be. It could be anything, but that's very good. Yeah. Anyone else want to comment about that?
My reaction when you said, now let go of the observer, was to immediately start looking for the observer so I could let go.
Right.
So it formed in that moment. So it actually wasn't there. I don't know if I said let go. Did I? I don't usually use those. I should just,
But exhale.
yeah,
Exhale.
just you breathe
Open.
out breathe out the observer. Yeah.
Stephen, you gave me permission. There was some sort of permission given that it did release.
Mhm.
And there was a sense of a cool sense of sort of relaxation.
Mhm.
And then my mind came in and
Right.
it said relief.
Yeah, right. Yeah, guarantee that you won't stay there. It's
Right.
guaranteed. This is just a brief vacation. You
That's
definitely.
lovely.
Yeah. Well, good. I haven't had a Qigong teacher ever teach that, but that's the Buddhist teaching on that. I mean, that's the fourth foundation, right? And Cassandra and I are studying the fourth foundation, and that's what that is, and that's the Zen practice too. But in Zen, it just happens. There's not a step-by-step build to it, which I think with the body and everything, I think that's pretty easy to do, really, because there's movement, and then there's posture, and then there's stillness, and you can step by step move right into it, with the body. That's one thing I like about the Qigong so much, is that the body will take us right there.
I found that as a very effective illustration without needing to study it, to really just move with it, have the experience of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no words, just this guidance and just the experience in the body.
The experience.
It's very powerful.
Yeah, because I'm not a scholar. I mean, that's not my way. But for some people, this really is very effective, and other people, it's not.
It worked well.
Yeah. Hi, Bonnie.
Hi, I'm screwing up the courage to say that I've been up since 4 this morning and I didn't even hear you say that.
That's good.
So,
that's all right.
there you are.
That's good. We hear what we need to hear, right? Why were you up since 4?
Because my partner had surgery this morning and had to be at Meritor by 5:30. So, but it just, when you asked us for our reaction when you said that, it's like, really? He said that.
Yeah. How'd she do?
She did okay. Yeah, she did okay. She's still, she's first day out, so yeah, she did okay. I mean, the surgery went well, and she'll be more like herself in a day or so, I hope. So.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I'd just like to ask one question to people. How are you, how is your practice, your spiritual practice, working with what's going on in the world for you? How is that? Is it intensifying it? Is it making it harder? Is it you? How is it's intensifying it? Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I found too. It's like it's more important or something. It's more not important, but it's yeah.
Mhm.
I feel like I'm back to basics with the practice. Just trying to get enough of a perspective on my mind to see it and its workings. And sometimes that's just what I'm wrestling with the whole sit. It's just trying to get quiet enough in my body that I can actually observe my mind.
Yeah, you know, and this I was a very active back in 68, 69, 67 even. I got thrown out of school for demonstrating, and I was making the revolution. I was, you know, I was way into it. And this is what we were missing. We were missing any kind of a stabilizing spiritual practice. So we just all got caught up in it, you know, and you know, Bonnie, I mean, and just, you know, we just went with it, and we didn't have any sense of being able to root ourselves into our, you know, our deeper wisdom. So it was, you know, I mean, I'm talking 50 years ago, I was very young, but now we have this. So that's why I'm curious, you know, how are you utilizing this, and given what's going on? Yeah. Well, thanks for joining.
I'll say one thing about that. This is BJ again, and it feels easier to be grounded in all this chaos
Mm-hmm.
to have practice. It's so much easier to. Sometimes I can feel more of the coming together of the world with these things that are going on.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's my wishful thinking, but
Mm-mm.
it just doesn't feel as chaotic when there's a practice to ground you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you can feel that energy of unity, and the energy of, you know, of purpose and compassion. I mean, yeah, I agree. Yeah, really useful.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks everybody. It's great to see you all. See you in a week.